Here we are with my old friend, colleague, and Hall of Famer, Steve Flink, who is in New York and is not coming this time to Paris. I'm very pissed off with this because I would have loved to have Steve next to me. I will this time go to Paris, where I didn't go last year. And we are here together, Steve, while I will be missing you, talking about the draw that just came out in Roland Garros in Paris. How are you, first of all?
I'm fine, Ubaldo. I miss doing our reports on a daily basis at Roland Garros with you. But next year, I think we will resume that, and I look forward to it. But I'm fine and looking forward to following it here from home throughout the fortnight.
Okay, maybe we will have a chat here and then during the tournament. Maybe I'll give you a call at the end of the first week or so we can talk about what happened. Right now, let's go and say, the draw came out. Let's start with the men's singles. And, well, we do have Nadal, Djokovic, Rublev, all in the same half draw, and also Mr. Federer, even if Mr. Federer says that he's not there to compete, but just to practice to play better in Wimbledon. What do you think about it?
Well, I think, Ubaldo, I'm full of sorrow. I did not want Nadal and Djokovic on the same half. We saw them in the final a year ago. They're the two best players in the world. I still think Djokovic is the second best clay court player after Nadal, and would be better that it was the final. It's exciting for the fans, but I don't think it's really fair because Medvedev has never won a match in the French Open. He's seeded 2. You have Tsitsipas and Zverev on that half of the draw too. They all get a pretty good deal, while Nadal and Djokovic know that one of them will not make the final. Somehow I think it's unfair, but that's how it worked out because Nadal should never be seeded number 3.
Yeah, I do agree. Nadal is a strong, or if not strong, is the favorite of the French Open, as you wrote in your great piece that we published on ubitennis.com and also in ubitennis.net. And well, I really think that where Medvedev is placed, number 2, is really not fair. It's not good. I mean, I know that they couldn't do different, but there for Tsitsipas, everything seems to me quite easy. I mean, I don't see him losing to any of the players that he has in his part of the draw.
Father, sorry to interrupt. I would agree with the exception of one player, and I'm not saying it will happen. I just think he would worry Tsitsipas, and that is Sebastian Korda, who's playing so well on the clay this week as we talk, and who is a very dangerous player. The son, of course, of Peter Korda, the 1992 Roland Garros finalist, lost to Jim Courier in the final. And Korda is dangerous. Do I think he'll beat Tsitsipas? No. In the end, I think Tsitsipas will win, but it's a match that could make him nervous. That would be second round if they met.
Yes, but when you play best of 5, you have to win 3 sets against the odds, and it's more difficult. That's why
I agree with you. That's why I say I don't think in the end the Korda will pull off the upset, but I think he could give him a scare, and I think it potentially could go 5 sets, but I think Tsitsipas in the end will win that match. It just will be an interesting test.
Yeah. Let's say, that let's say if today we had to bet, we are not allowed to bet, but if we had to bet on the semi-finalist, I would say in the upper half draw, Djokovic and Nadal. In the other one, Tsitsipas, I give him an edge on everyone else, and versus the winner between Zverev and Thiem, because we don't know exactly. Thiem he has been runner-up twice, and other 2 times semi-finalists, but this year he seems in troubles. He seems he didn't play too well. He has lost matches by players that he shouldn't have lost. And while Zverev if he goes through Bautista Agut or Kashanov, well, you know, Tim, for instance, will have some troubles also if he has to play Ruud in the last 16, because Ruud on clay is quite dangerous.
Right, I agree. No, I agree with you, Ubaldo. He's the most interesting player on that half of the draw team, because unlike the previous 5 years, and even last year, he was in the quarters, he lost to Schwartzman after winning the U.S. Open. He was a little tired, but he's been a big player, we might say, the last 5 years at Roland Garros. And now he's suddenly doubting himself. He didn't have a good clay court circuit. So I guess I would give slight edge in that section of the draw. I don't know if you agree. Give a slight edge to Zverev to get through to play a semi against Tsitsipas. What do you think about that?
Yeah, yeah. I also think, you know, I put a question mark. I printed the draws, and then I went on with the pencil. No, which I can afterwards I can cancel it and go with a pen, with the actual pen, and I put Zverev and Tim with a question mark immediately afterwards about the semifinalists, because normally I would have thought that Tim should be the favorite of that section, but this year I'm not so convinced by his performance.
Yeah, I totally agree. And of course, even in the best of times, I mean, Team does have difficulty with Zverev. He just lost him in Madrid. He probably should have lost the U.S. Open final. Zverev should have won that match. He's up 2 sets, and he later served for the match in the 5th. So even when Team is more confident, he has difficulties with Zverev, but he's won most of their matches. But I do believe that right now, there's a lot of inner doubts, a lot of questioning of himself, and he's not happy with how he played most of the clay court circuit. So I'm really interested to see if he can pull himself out of that slump that he's been in.
Yeah, then, you know, this year they will play also night session. We don't know how wet will be the weather and the conditions. That could have an influence on the clay, like it had last.
Ubaldo, just a quick interjection. Will it have any influence on your dinner plans?
Yeah, well, forget it. Forget it. Also, because I don't know how safe it is to go to a restaurant in Paris.
Go ahead. Go back to what you're saying. Sorry about that. Just continue.
No, but it's okay. No, but I think I'll be prisoner at the Roland Garros, stuck over there. And, you know, they usually don't give you the chance to show also to organize the videos that we usually do, and we have to go outside of Roland Garros. So this time it will be a problem, because to go outside of Roland Garros at night with no lights, it's a problem. You know, at the Australian Open, the US Open, they don't care if we take a stand-up, you know, without showing. I mean, of course, to protect the TV rights is normal, and they have to do it. But in our case, we are not creating any problems to anyone. It's just a stand up with my face, and if you were around, yours, and that was it. So it's not that we are showing any images of tennis matches or played, you know. Anyway, so they understand this at US Open, they understand it at the Australian Open. I hope that we start to understand it in Wimbledon. In Paris right now is not like that. We'll see what happens. Anyway, let's say, you know, personally, you know that for the first time we have 4 Italians in the seeds, in the 32 seeds. We have four Italians who are all in the top 30 players in the world, but unfortunately they all belong to that same half of the draw, where there is Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, Rublev. I wished I had one of them, and on the other side, the only one who is in the other side, the same side of the same half of Zverev and Medvedev, is Fognini, who is right now the one who is less. The least competitive compared to
while we're on the subject of your Italians, and you just mentioned Berrettini, who is obviously he's your best player. What do you think about a potential Berrettini match against Roger Federer, round of 16, with the winner to play Djokovic in the quarters? Do you go with Berrettini, or Federer?
No, I would think Berrettini, but I don't think Federer will make it. I don't think Federer.
I'm sorry to say, I agree with both things you said.
Yeah.
No, I do, Ubaldo. It's probably going to be hard for Roger to win the 3 matches, even though he opens against a qualifier.
If we talk about, first of all, he has to play a qualifier who will have practice a lot in the, and second, he is in the same, already at the second round, the winner of Cilic, Rinderknecht, a French guy, very tall, who serves very well. And I saw him beating Sinner in Lyon. He's already, they are both already dangerous players for the actual Federer. So, and plus Federer, in my opinion, is going there with not enough trust on himself. So if things go wrong.
Ubaldo, sorry to interrupt, but he has the same opinion. I think he's very honest when you say, in your opinion, he's saying he doesn't think he can win the tournament. He knows he really has. It rarely speaks that freely about it, and I can understand it because he's only had a couple of tournaments this year. And the one tournament on clay in Geneva, he loses to Andahar in his first match, and he fell apart from 4-2 in the third set. He didn't play very well, so I think he has a reason to have no confidence. On the other hand, I think he'd be really happy if he got through and lost to Berrettini. I think he'd be okay with that. 4 matches, then on to the grass. But if he loses one of the first 2, I think he could be in a little psychological trouble.
Yeah, I don't think he will fight. Also because he would be afraid maybe to get injured, So he's probably doesn't want to take too many chances. I don't even understand, to be honest, his scheduling. I mean, it doesn't make much sense to do practically the first tournament. Okay, he played Geneva, and you just mentioned what happened, and then he should have tried to play maybe Rome, and then see maybe, okay, if he was going to lose the first 2 rounds in Rome, I could have gone to Geneva, and then but to just start to play best of 5 at Roland Garros doesn't make any sense. What can happen? I mean, only if someone will be psychological, afraid to play Federer would lose, I think.
Well, here's the thing, Ubaldo, I agree with almost everything you said. The only thing is, normally we've been having 3 weeks in between the French and Wimbledon. Now, the French coming a week late this year. So Federer may have thought he didn't want to play 2 grass court tournaments and go straight to Wimbledon after 2. I think he only wants to play 1. And so he's hoping just to get matches in Paris. I still would have just taken the chance if I were him and gone straight to the grass and just see how he would do in each tournament, and then judge it from there and go to Wimbledon very confident. This way is very tricky, very tricky.
Yeah, also because, let's say that he goes in Paris and he loses the first round. What kind of the confidence will have on himself?
Right.
I mean, okay, only if things would run so smoothly for him that he would really reach Berrettini in the last 16. Then okay, then would be different. But I don't see him capable to, maybe we don't know who's going to be the qualifier while we're talking. Could be either Cilic or Rinderknecht. Then Fritz. Fritz is already someone who on clay is capable to beat him. And
very capable. That would be a tough match for Roger. I agree. So that's a lot. It's true. It's a lot. But if he manages to get to Berrettini, the tournament has been a success.
Yeah, it has been a success. And in that case, if he loses, it wouldn't be a disaster. I mean, he would have said, okay, I played 3 matches. I won, first round, second round. third round, and that could be instead grow his confidence also for Wimbledon. Anyway,
Yes.
so well, let's see. Between the two, Djokovic and Nadal, who has the better draw, in your opinion? Because Djokovic starts with Sandgren, who on clay is not that dangerous, I think. Then maybe Humbert, not dangerous for Djokovic. Then
Well,
they have
that would be third round. You're right. No, nothing looks very dangerous for him for 3 rounds, and I'm not even sure that he won't go into the quarterfinals quite easily.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Uh,
I think he's if Berrettini or Aliassim get because Berrettini may play Aliassim in the third round, and he's not sure to win, but I think he should be the favorite, depending, a lot how fast is the surface, because Berrettini needs to make short points, serve and forehand.
right, right.
If the clay is low, then Berrettini has to struggle a little bit more, because he doesn't move as well as other players. But also Aliassim is not in his best position to play, on a slow clay. So
No. You know what, Ubaldo? I think really the bottom line is that Djokovic, it's hard to imagine he loses before the semifinals. And frankly, I say the same for Rafa. Rafa might play Rublev in the quarters, but I don't see many difficult matches for Rafa along the way.
well, Rafa, in my opinion, Rafa may have some troubles with Sinner, because Sinner already last year was capable to cause him some troubles in the first set. He was serving for the set,
He should
and
have
in
won that.
Rome,
Yeah.
and in Rome, when they played again this year, Sinner was very annoyed about his own performance, but he has played and practiced with Nadal because he went to his academy, and he knows him well. And this Sinner is how can I say? He's not presumptuous, but he's very ambitious, and in a way is also quite self-confident. So Sinner, as it happened in Lyon, may lose to someone
Right.
earlier. For instance,
No,
I see.
if Sinner gets to Nadal, they play, which I think would be fourth round. If they meet, you're right. He's the one guy that Nadal would be a little worried about, because he really is not afraid of Rafa. He played him tough twice, as you said, and he should have won the first last year. And the match they played a few weeks ago was terrific. And the score doesn't even begin to do the match justice. Sinner played a great match.
Yeah,
but
and then
that's the only one, Ubaldo, that I can see being a serious threat to. But the only way that he beats him, in my opinion, is to win the first set. If Nadal gets a lead, we saw it last year too. I mean, if Nadal gets on top of him and goes up a set, I don't see Sinner being able to produce a comeback.
Yeah, well, I'm curious to see how Nadal would react to a marathon match, because I had the impression that this year, for the first time, sometimes I saw him, I don't say breathless, but struggling a bit, being very, very, sweating a lot. I saw him against Rublev in Monte Carlo, where he lost. I saw him some moments of fatigue, and I wasn't used to see Nadal under fatigue. So,
But on the other hand, Ubaldo, those are all very valid points. On the other hand, in the toughest matches that he played, such as the Tsitsipas final in Barcelona, where he saved a match point, and also again in Rome when he had to come back against Shapovalov, he still came through. You're right. There are times he looked maybe a bit tired, but he still fought his way through and won those matches and recovered from those matches particularly the
Yeah,
match
yeah, no,
against.
I do. I know that. I do agree with you, but I wonder what would have happened if he had to play two more sets or even one more set. Because okay, he came back, but one thing is to win two sets, another thing is to win three, and it depends how tired you are. And Tsitsipas had great chances, and Shapovalov, as you mentioned, too. But for sure, they were not going to be tired if they had to play a fourth set or a fifth set. While about Nadal, let's say in the past, I had no doubts. This year, some small doubts, I do have them.
I see your point, but I think also that the way that Nadal has been playing the last 5 years and the quicker points, his ability to end points faster, it helps him. If Rafa played the way he did when he won his first 4 times, 2005 through 2008, to me, he's a very different player now, and that and he has to be, and he understands that. But you're right. I'd like to see it happen. I'd like to see if somebody like Sinner could actually get him into a 5-set match.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. I mean, or even Rublev, because Nadal on clay has always been dominant also in terms of play. He was the leading the action. Now, sometimes I saw him running a lot with Sinner, with Tsitsipas was Tsitsipas who was leading the game, and also Rublev in Monte Carlo, where Nadal honestly didn't play well.
Oh, he did.
No, well, Rublev was really, moving Nadal from one side to another all the time. So. Which means that at the end you are more tired.
Yeah, Rublev happened to have a great day off the ground, that he served well, and Rafa was having surprising problems with his back. It was a combination of the two, but yes, we have to see if one of these guys can actually manage to get him in. That it's so difficult to do, to get him into a 5-setter. But Sinner has the right attitude. Of all those young guys, his mentality, I could tell when he came off the court against Nadal this last time, he was not satisfied with a close straight set loss. He was not satisfied at all. He probably thought he should have won at least one set and maybe the match.
Yeah. So anyway, okay, we both see anyway that in a way that Nadal has a little tougher draw than Djokovic. If Sinner and Rublev are dangerous for him, I don't say that Karatsev on clay is not so strong, and Schwartzman has some kind of inferiority complex with Nadal, so I don't see him capable to bother him. But Djokovic, honestly, I don't see who can beat Djokovic. While Nadal, even if I consider Nadal more favorite as you do to win the whole tournament, I think he has a worse draw. That's my opinion, at least.
Yeah. What do you think about the fact that Ivanisevic came out? Apparently, I in one of the Spanish websites that Ivanisevic was saying that he actually wanted Djokovic to play Rafa in the semis rather than the final. He actually preferred it. He didn't say Rafa preferred it. He said he preferred it. To me, I don't think it makes a big difference. They're both worried about each other. They respect each other. I think the only thing that matters is one of them might wear the other out a bit coming into the final if they have a long 5-set match.
Yeah, then, I don't know. Following up what I said before, it may happen that Djokovic could reach the semifinal a little less tired than Nadal. If Nadal has to fight versus Sinner and versus Rublev, he may get there and be a little more tired. While Djokovic, in my opinion, will get there very fresh, because even let's say, if he has to play in the quarters of final Berrettini, for instance, and who could be a dangerous opponent because of his serve. But Berrettini, if he goes through, Berrettini is not someone who will keep him on court for hours. While both Sinner and Rublev in their best days, maybe playing against a Nadal who is not in his best day, they could go on and on and on forever. So if
Yes.
Nadal, if Nadal
Barrett,
would have to, if
sorry, go
Nadal
ahead.
would have to play, if Nadal would have to play a semi-final after 2 marathons, then he don't forget that on June the 3rd he will be 35 years old.
Yeah. Well, listen, the other thing is that you pointed out the way Berrettini plays. He doesn't want that many long rallies. Djokovic will try to force it on him. But I think that there will be a lot of quick points because Berrettini will go for it off big serves and trying to crush the forehand. So Djokovic, that shouldn't be that taxing a match. It could be hard fought, but it shouldn't be physically that tough.
No, that's right. Okay, let's talk again about the other half. I mean, apart from, I don't see any. We have been talking almost about the same guys. If I have to say one great first round match, well, I don't know. I'm just looking at it. I don't see some unbelievable first rounds in the. Well, of course, I'm curious to see Federer, no, whoever he plays with.
Whoever he plays, right?
And then the rest. I think Gael Monfils will probably lose to Ramos Vinolas, even if Monfils in France will play probably, with the whole crowd on the back. The crowd is coming back in Paris, and they probably put him at night. Because this year we have the night sessions, and so I don't know. I don't see some very exciting first round.
Well, you're ignoring the All-American match between John Isner and Sam Querrey, but I don't think that's going to be a great draw that match.
No. Even if Isner, okay, he is not young anymore. Him too. But I remember when Isner went 5 sets with versus Nadal. Isner is dangerous. Nobody likes to play him. Like Opelka. Opelka in Rome had never won almost a match in his life. He had won 2 clay court matches in his life, and then in Rome won 3.
Yeah. Yep, got all the way to the semi and lost to Rafa. It's true. He had a great week. No, they're not.
Opelka could go could take the place of Medvedev, who is already, you could be already in big troubles. Medvedev on the first round against Bublik.
Yes, he could. He could. That could be a lot of trouble for Medvedev. And Medvedev has convinced himself that he can't play on clay. It's interesting. He has no belief in his ability to play on clay, and it's kind of sad because I think he should be able to be able to adapt better than he has. Yeah.
So let's say let's see the first rounds on the other in the lower part of the draw. I mentioned Medvedev, Bublik. Then
team plays Andahar, who of course just beat Federer in Geneva. That could be somewhat interesting, and that's a first rounder. Zverev plays a qualifier. So there's not, as you said, there are not that many really interesting first rounders that jump out at you.
No.
Go ahead.
No, I do agree. There is, well, you have another All-American match, Johnson-Tiafoe, but probably there will be 2 Americans watching it.
Well, I would have been one of them if I was there.
I will not. I will not go. And anyway, there will be the usual bunch of Spanish and Argentinians trying to go further. I don't know. Maybe, for instance, the Chilean Garin is not bad. He could Garin, either Garin or Dimitrov could take the place of Medvedev and play Tsitsipas.
Yes, yes.
Anyway, so that's about it. Let's say that, of course, for Nadal is very important, because if he wins 14 times, not only that, he will also overcome Federer in number of slams. So
Very important for him, and for Djokovic, he wants to become the first player of the Open era to win at every major at least twice. And that's a big achievement if he can do it. So they each have really lofty aims, you might say, and there's a lot of history on the line. But it's just a shame. I kind of wanted it to be like last year, Ubaldo, where they met in the final and they settled it in the final. One of them was going to grab the title, and that was going to be it. This time, we're going to lose one of them for sure after that semifinal.
Yeah.
So what do you think,
in a way, you say you see I read already some posts on Ubi Tennis today. Immediately afterwards, we put the draw, and they said, "Oh, we have seen already too many Djokovic Nadal final." I mean, I understand that it's fair. It would have been more fair, because they're the two top players on clay. But it's also true that would be nice also to see maybe once Tsitsipas or Zverev in a final against one of those two. Because if not, already in Rome, we had again Nadal, Federer playing for the sixth time in a final, and it was the balance is 29 wins by Djokovic and 28 by Nadal. So if they play it, they may go 29 even, 29 all, which could be fun in a way. But it's also true that people needs also to see something new after a while. I mean, we will miss them for sure when they stop playing, but as we have been missing Federer. But at the end, to have a new, I mean, unless his team was been already in the final, most probably from the lower part, as we said, it may be either Tsitsipas or Zverev.
Tsitsipas is the one that I would trust more, Ubaldo, on the occasion. I mean, psychologically, how he would handle the big occasion, big final. Obviously, Zverev did have the experience at the US Open and didn't come through, but Tsitsipas strikes me as more ready to meet that moment. And so if he would be in a good position to take advantage of a long Rafa Novak semi. And if one of them is a bit tired coming into the final, Tsitsipas could take full advantage of it. I would believe in him more in the final than I would believe in Zverev. Do you agree?
Yeah. I think so too. I think so too. So and then I think he's a new character. He has a kind of allure. I mean, it's. I think would be good for tennis. I mean, if Tsitsipas goes to the final in general. Also, this story about the Greece, the Greek player, that they have no traditions. Even if there was somebody called Sampras or Philippoussis who had some Greek ancestors.
Yeah, and he's also so well prepared. He won 2 tournaments, and including his first Masters 1000, and the losses that he had were well played matches where he has the match point against Rafa and he serves for the match against Novak. So he really played awfully good tennis the whole clay court circuit. So I think he's more confident than he's ever been here before. Plus, last year he was close to the final. He took Djokovic to 5, so in the semis. So he knows what he's doing on clay.
Yeah, and then he won 7 tournaments already. So it's in a way he is growing in terms of experience. That's for sure.